Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Nick versus Everyone. And today with me, I got a very special guest. Dr. Stinchcomb is in the house, ready to go one-on-one with the great one. What's up?
What's up, yo, Nick Ladaga, man? It's been a long time, but ready to kick it with you, man. It's cool being able to do this type of stuff from across the country. So definitely happy to be here and glad to join you, dude. What's going on?
Yeah, man, it's been a long time. I feel like we haven't hung out a whole lot since probably high school. Like obviously, we see each other at big events like weddings and birthdays from time to time. Obviously, I haven't been in Michigan in 4 years, pretty much, and you've been moving around a little bit around the state as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I lived in Fargo before that. So,
Yeah.
uh, so we pretty much haven't had an opportunity to hang out besides like those big events, like I said, and it's been a long time, and a lot has changed for both of us.
Crazy. Yeah, crazy.
It's been crazy. What you been up to?
Man, just having kids and my wife's having kids. I mean, we got 3 kids now, and just Courtney, we're blessed. She's a stay at home mom, so
Hmm.
that's been amazing. But yeah, man, just when you have kids, it just changes everything. In a good way, absolutely. But
Hmm.
you just your focus and your priorities are just so much different than when we were back in high school, just worried about what we were going to have for lunch or breakfast, or what time we were going to wake up on the weekend. It's just dude, so that's my life and my wife's life right now is just raising our kids and yeah, man, just trying to enjoy life. I think as I get older and I start having kids of my own and I grow up a little bit and mature a little bit, it really puts things in perspective for you, and you try to focus on the things that are most important. And that's what I've been doing lately, just trying to focus on me and my family. And
Hmm.
in this crazy world that we live in nowadays, it's so easy to get caught up in it. But yeah, man, just trying to enjoy life, every second that God gives me, another day on this earth, man. I just try to enjoy it more and more, and because you never know what can happen when it's going to happen. So, but yeah, man, like I said, it's been crazy.
Hmm.
Living in Grand Rapids now. We love it over here. Just bought a house in Caledonia, so that's been awesome. The last
How
few
was
years
that
we've been.
experience? How was that experience? Buying a house. I know that during like COVID, uh, the it was extremely competitive, and uh, where I live, it's a small beach town, and there's condos that are either one bedroom or studios going for like 700K, 800K, and I'm just
It's
like,
ridiculous.
what?
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, and so during like COVID, it was extremely competitive, right? And I imagine it kind of slowed down a little bit, but what was that experience like, kind of house hunting and stuff?
I mean, it was crazy. It was. I mean, just everything was obviously with interest rates going up and everything like that. It's just that the housing market has been wild. So I mean, it's been up and down for us. I mean, we've gone through spurts where we'd hunt a little bit, and then we'd be like, it's just there's no point in it right now. It's just like I'm not going to spend 400 grand for a house that I got to put $100,000 into just to fix it up. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what we were running into, and it just wasn't worth it for us to do that. So we kind of just put it on the back burner for a while. Like I said, we'd go in spurts of it, but we finally just was kind of gave up and let things simmer down a little bit. And we found this place in it's a new build, it's a newer subdivision in Caledonia. So we were able to hop on a house there.
Hmm.
And yeah, we've been here short amount of time. I think it's been a little over a month. February 20th we moved in, so coming up on a
Yeah.
couple of months. But
That's
But
pretty
it's nice,
sick.
man.
Yeah, that's
It
pretty
is.
sick.
It's nice having a place to call our own for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking for that to one. I'm looking for that one day eventually. Uh,
Hmm.
Probably won't be here because, like I said, it's 800 grand like minimum to
Yeah.
even think about like even like a condo or whatever.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so probably not here. But
All about location.
yeah, yeah, and I love the location here, and so does everybody else.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's kind of crazy right now because I feel like the prices went up on homes like crazy during COVID, right?
Hmm.
Wild numbers were being thrown around and people were taking them, right?
Yeah.
And now that the interest rates have gone up so much, they kind of haven't really come down. From
Yeah.
what I'm kind of seeing. You're right. They're like, oh, last year, yeah, this is 500K, and
Hmm.
not, and that's what people were selling them for. So I'm not going down from that. And it's just like it's a kind of
Yeah.
it's a different thing now, dude. And yeah,
Yeah.
I've been kind of looking around on like Zelly and stuff and just seeing what's out there. And you're right. It's like, all right,
Hmm.
this home is 20 years old. Who knows what's wrong with it? And you want how
Right.
much for it? And I'm gonna have to
Exactly.
put in stupid money to make
No
it.
way, man.
And I feel like a lot of people don't keep up with their homes as they should, and so it's just like by the time they're ready to sell it, a lot of times it's just they throw some paint on it,
Yeah.
like
Put
do
put
the
a put
bare
a band-aid
minimum.
over the boo boo. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, they don't take the time to like keep it up. So yeah, I like the idea of a new build because then you're not, or like a newer build because you're not inheriting someone else's like not taking care of their stuff, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. And that's the thing. It's like, obviously with us having three kids and stuff, like I don't have to put a bunch of money into a house or worry about if I gotta, put a new, water heater in or air conditioning unit or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So it's nice, having that peace of mind and just knowing that it's a new home and
Mhm.
we can kind of make it our own that way too. So, but yeah,
I
it's
don't
been
know
a
about
process.
you, but I can't build nothing. So
Yeah.
so if you're
No,
telling me
man.
I gotta fix something, I'll
Right.
YouTube it,
Yeah.
see how it goes.
Hire somebody to do it for me. It's
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Nate bought his first home a couple years back, and he just finished his basement, and he kind of
mm,
uh, was going through like learning how to do stuff. He got help from family and friends. Luckily, they had people that knew how to do it. He did pay some people to help him out with the things that he wasn't able to do, but he took it as like a learning experience with his first home.
yeah.
He lives up in Ludington now, and
Hmm.
I think eventually he'll want to go back down to Grand Rapids, where he
Yeah.
did his residencies and stuff. But so he's
Right.
like using this house kind of as a like learn how to do stuff around the house and make it nice
Hmm.
and eventually resell it. But yeah, there's so much that I don't know how to do.
Oh man. Yeah. It's.
So when you say put in a new water heater, I'm like, all right, what does that mean?
Yeah, dude. It's same for me. I mean, I'm pretty intelligent. Just like your brother, and I could probably look something up and learn how to do it pretty quickly. But at the same time, it's like I get again to bring me back to the point of my priorities and things that I find important. It's just I would rather, if I don't know how to do it or it's not going to be like a quick fix, I'm just going
Yeah.
to have somebody else do it, and I can get on with my life, and they
Yeah.
can, they can make money doing their job, and I'll go do something, that.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I'll probably mess it up anyway and then have to
Yeah.
redo
have to
it.
hire somebody anyways to fix your f
Yeah.
up. So
Just like we were just talking about is inheriting other stuff like
yeah.
like you get in there uh yeah, and like what was this guy doing? He was just doing stuff off YouTube. And you're like, yep. Yep. Pretty
Yeah.
much. Pretty
Uh,
much. And yeah, so that's crazy. So you have three kids now. Uh
mm,
uh what are the ages of the kids?
Yeah, so three kids. We got two girls. Layla, she's our oldest. She's 6 now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jade is our middle child, our middle daughter. She's going to be 4 in August,
Mm-hmm.
and then Crew, our son. He's the latest and greatest, but he'll be 2 in August. So
Nice. So two year increments. It sounds like.
yeah, that's once we had Layla. That's kind of how my wife wanted. She didn't want any more than 2 years in between each kid. So, I
Uh-huh.
mean, for a while there, it just seemed like we would pop one out and then she'd be pregnant again. You know, for like a 6 year period there, it was like she'd get like a few months off, and then by the time she knew it, her belly was puffing up again. So, but
That's
but I think
awesome.
we're done with 3 now, man. I think three is
Yeah.
three's a good number.
Uh-huh.
Obviously we got both genders now.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy and healthy, and that's all that we could ask for. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty
3 kids, man.
crazy. Rachel is pregnant
Yeah,
about halfway there.
yeah,
20, 21, 22 weeks now.
that's awesome, man.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. And yeah, it's like do you remember what was your thought process going into the first one? Kind of put you where I'm at, and I'm interested to know what pre and then like, all right, you're a couple months in. I was wrong.
Yeah. It's I didn't really dive into it like I wasn't like reading books or anything like that. Courtney, my wife, she's always been really good with kids. When I first met her, she worked at a daycare, and when I first met her, she wanted to have like 10 kids. And so when we first started dating, that was always
Yeah.
like kind of in the back of my head, like I don't know if this girl's gonna be like the one, because she wants a lot of kids, and I'm like, I'm not trying to have 10 kids. Like
She
that's
wants a whole she wants a
yeah.
whole basketball league.
But she just loved kids, so
Uh,
she just had this idea that she wanted to have this big family, and so eventually, after she worked at this daycare for a while, she found out that she didn't like kids that much,
yeah.
and so she wanted to. She still wanted to have a few, but not as many. So that's when I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me.
that
Because
was that was the last hurdle. Oh, all right.
uh,
We're good now.
yeah, so we agreed on that, and but no, man, I think it's like I said, I didn't really jump into it reading a bunch on it or anything like that. I kind of, like I said, Courtney's always been really good with kids, and I kind of just took her guidance really with everything.
Hmm.
And I mean, obviously, a lot of parenting and fatherhood and motherhood is just, especially for new parents, in my opinion, like looking back. Um, and it's just like it's such a learning experience. It's just like every single day, you learn something new, or the baby learns something new, how to open its eyes or talk,
Yeah.
have noises come out of its mouth that it's never heard before, and it's just this wild experience that you guys are kind of going through together. And so I think, like I said, that part of it, I wouldn't try to prep too much. Like, I don't think you can be prepared for parenting. I think it's
Yeah.
just something, it's one of those things you just kind of have to jump into it, and you figure it out along the way. And,
Yeah.
you're going to mess up, you're going to make mistakes, your kid's going to cry and they're going to be upset sometimes, but you just, like, you learn the things that make your child upset. Right. And
Yeah.
you automatically in your head, like when your kid starts to cry, you automatically start to think of like this checklist, like, okay, is
Right.
the diaper changed? Are they fed? Are they tired? Right. And if you,
Yeah.
and then, and you figure it out, you're like, okay, this is the reason why they're crying. And
Yeah.
if, and then it's all fine. But yeah, man, like I said, as far as that goes, I would just, like I said, lean on your spouse as much as possible. It's just such
Hmm.
a, I think that's the biggest part of it for me. It's not even so much about the child. It's about like how you and your spouse go through that experience
Hmm.
together.
Yeah.
Because obviously, as a child, they're going to learn from you. They're going to pick up all the things that you do and your
Yeah.
wife does. And so I think that's the biggest thing for me. I've just kind of, gone through the process and learned about each kid individually as an individual
Because that's
person. And
wild, right? Because they have different personalities. Like, oh, this
yeah,
worked on
man.
the first one, but the second or the third one, nope, does that one don't work
Yeah,
with
man.
this one,
It's
right?
different. It switches up on you, and you're like, wait, no, she liked that. Why don't
Uh,
you like that? I'm like, what's going on here? I thought I got this figured out the first time.
yeah, yeah. Me and Rachel is very much a planner.
Yeah.
So she, it doesn't go crazy, but she reads books and is, Googling stuff and all these things. And I'm more of the problem solver. And,
Hmm.
and so I'm not much of someone to read a bunch of books. I mean, I have a couple books that I'll probably read by the time the baby's here. But yeah, I'm very much like, all right, I'm gonna figure it out. You
Yeah.
know a lot of things now,
Hmm.
and we work as a team pretty good.
Yeah,
Throughout
that's
the
great.
years we lived together, and so yeah, I'm very much a figure it out person, and
Hmm.
she's definitely a planner, and sometimes she's just like, did you read that book yet? Did you read that book yet? I'm like, I'm working on it. Trust me, I'm working on
Now,
it.
when you guys like come together, did you just decide like, hey, we're gonna have a kid now? Like, is that
Yeah,
is that kind of like a step that you
yeah,
planned for it, and that's how much of a planner like Rachel is? Does she
yeah.
also like know how many years she wants to between kids and all this type of stuff like Courtney did, or are you guys like up in the air with that?
Um, I think I think she is more like, let's see how the first one goes.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
me and her want multiple kids. I mean, I'd like to have, three or four.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to what she wants, how healthy, if she's, low risk pregnancies and all that.
Absolutely.
So that there's a lot of things that are not up to us. So I think it's just like
Absolutely.
taking each one at a time and see how it goes
Hmm.
and the health and all that good stuff. And I mean, I would like to have. I kind of grew up in like a bit bigger family, in many ways, and so yeah, I think having a bigger family is more appealing to me, like three or four. Um,
Hmm.
but then
Yeah.
like after three, you need to buy like a bigger car, and I don't know how big of a car I want.
Right. And dude, that's the thing that we're going through right now. It's like, do we get a minivan or like do we? It's just that there's so many things that you bring when
Yeah,
you just go on like this a
so
weekend
much
trip,
crap.
dude. It's
I
just
know.
like,
I just have this
what is
little.
going
I
on?
have a little Chevy Trax right now that I've been just chugging along. Got it all the way out here from Michigan here.
Yeah,
It's like pretty much paid off, and I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm like, God dang it, I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to. So yeah, I've been looking around at some cars like three rows seating. Like I don't, I'm not a person like likes to recycle through cars every like couple years. Like I'm like, all right, this car I want this to last for like not only this. I like cars that are have many purposes. Let's just say that
Mm-hmm.
are flexible. So, can it load a bunch of crap? Can it go through an apocalypse? Can it
Right.
handle like three row seating? Like,
Is
what
it
is the car?
bulletproof?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need no weaknesses. Actually, a couple of months ago, in Carpinteria where I live in Santa Barbara, that's like Holly to Fenton or Holly to Grand Blanc. I
Mm.
basically live in Grand Blanc and Holly is Santa Barbara. So that's kind of like how it compares. It's pretty close. And there was rain, like crazy rain that they've never seen here in years. And there's flooding when there's a bunch of rains. We're right by some mountains, and all the creeks come down, and flooding
Right. Yeah.
happens, and trees get taken down, all that good stuff. Long story short, they cut down the highway. They shut down the highways, north and south. There's no way to get out, right? And I'm just like, man, this Chevy tracks. I might have to get a boat. If I had a Jeep, that might be different. Maybe I need a Jeep, one of those Jeep trucks. I can put all the
Uh,
crap in the back. I can put the cat in the back and just
yeah,
lift
dude.
that boy up, and I'm going up the mountain.
No, yeah. Put that in 4-wheel drive, and you're going right
uh,
around that. Yeah, that's crazy, man. We don't
Yeah,
have to
so
worry that we don't really have to worry about that in Michigan. So.
yeah, I mean, you got some winter storms and stuff, and that's another thing. Like in California, people love electric cars, and there's
Mm,
stations everywhere, and it's doable. But like,
yeah,
if you go cross country, that's a huge pain in the butt. Like, fill up in 5 minutes and you're gone, not wait an hour for it to
exactly.
charge and then go. So it's like, all right, I want an electric car kind of, but it's not there yet. So not yet. And in Michigan, the infrastructure is a lot different. So I'm like, dang it, I kind of like a couple of these electric cars, but it's not the time. But then by the time it's time, then cars are going to be driving themselves. And there's no,
Right.
I better get it now because I'll at least drive it. So, uh, but yeah, I've been looking around at a couple cars. Like there's the Jeep Grand Cherokee like L, that's 3 row
Yeah.
seating.
Hmm.
There's like Tellurides are like highly rated, and those are like 3 row seatings and stuff like that, and have all the nice stuff. And but yeah, there's just like once you're planning for like a kid, like me, like going for a house, I'm like, all right, I don't want to buy a house and then have to upgrade to another house, and then upgrade to another, like, and then downgrade
Right.
eventually when they leave.
Yeah.
So when I look for a house, I want something that's, I could have until it's done, pretty much.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
a, it's all about. I mean, like I said, it's all about perspective. I mean, I think like we obviously like the third row seating. We have a Volkswagen Atlas. I don't know if you've checked those out. Those
oh
are
yeah, those are nice. Yeah,
yeah, that's what
those are
Courtney
pretty big.
drives. Yeah, it is, and that was the one thing with her. Like we looked at like the Chevy Suburbans and things like those bigger, and
Yeah.
she just doesn't. She just feels like she's in like a bus when she drives one of those things. So
Rachel
she,
would not be able to drive one of those, and that's another
yeah,
thing.
so,
Like, can
yeah,
do they
your
feel
wife's
comfortable
probably gonna be
driving
the
it?
one
Yeah.
exactly. So like I said, we got her that, and she loves that. But yeah, like I said, it gets to the point where even that now doesn't even hold enough space. If we go on like a trip or something, and we're gone for a few days,
Hmm.
with all the luggage and the suitcases and the toys and the pack and play and the strollers and dude, it's like we have it's like
Yeah.
dude, every trip just get ready. Every trip that you and your Rachel start going on is like checklist of
Uh,
like
so
your
much
stuff just
stuff.
gets thrown in like a duffel bag, and then it's just like
Yeah.
you just have to make sure you have all the kids stuff. It's just like
That reminds me of a question. What is something that you bought beforehand and like you were like, why did we buy this? This thing sucks, or like we don't
yeah,
use it. Like you thought, oh, I'm gonna need this thing, and
dude,
so I got
yeah.
my checklist. We have our list of like things that we're like, all right, we might need this, we might need this, we might need that. For example, there's this thing called the snoo, and it's supposed to be this high tech bassinet thing that like vibrates and it has all the
Hmm.
things, all the bells and whistles, and it's like over $1,000. People
Yeah.
rent them sometimes, whatever. And so I think Nate and Claire rented it, but for the first little bit, she hated it. I think
Mm,
she eventually got used
hmm.
to it, but that's like an example of something like, oh, this is going to be the thing, and
Yeah.
then maybe it wasn't completely the thing.
Dude, that definitely with our first child, more than any others, we were just buying stuff to try it out.
Hmm.
I'll say that the flip side of that, probably the best thing that we invested in, and this is obviously depending on if you guys are going to do breastfeeding or whatever, um, but we with a couple of our kids, they were formula fed because they
Hmm.
were like lactose intolerant or whatever, so
Hmm.
um, we had to get them the sensitive formula stuff. But we had the baby Brezza, dude. It's like a latte maker for adults, but it's for babies.
No way.
And you just
Sick.
put the powder in that thing in the top there, and then it
Uh-huh.
filters down, and then it's got the water thing in the back, and it heats it up,
Like
and then it
perfect temp.
mixes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mixes it with the formula in the bottle, and then it squirts it down and you got a perfectly hot formula bottle right there, just ready in like 20 seconds. I
It's
mean,
so easy.
it's
Yeah, and
phenomenal.
that's another thing too. Like, all right, once you can afford stuff, it becomes like all right, this is just gonna make my life easier, man.
Like, what saves me the most time right now? Like,
Yeah,
that's.
yeah. Like, do I need it? No, but it's a
Is it
convenient thing.
efficient? Yes, yes. Is it going to save me a minute and 30 seconds? Yes, it will. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
I would say that was the best thing that we had, dude. I would invest in like I mean, I guess it depends on your living situation. We didn't really use those like diaper pal things very much, where
What was
you
that?
got it's like a trash can specifically just for diapers, and
That's,
it's got like a lid that pops open, and you stuff it, you stuff it
yo,
down in there, and
I,
we used
I'm
it, but it stinks, and it's. I
yeah.
wouldn't get one. I wouldn't get one.
Thank you for that because I am more scared of that thing
Yeah,
or that
same.
situation more than like any other thing when it comes to like when it comes to like poop and smelly things and like trash. That's my weakness.
Yeah,
And like
that's
I will throw up. That's the thing. So like I have seen that thing. I'm just like, dude, just that thing's sitting there.
hmm
Not sure.
Yeah.
So what is the best version to get out of that that situation for me? That's what I will read
Honestly,
9 books on that.
honestly, I would just we just got rid of them in the trash. I mean,
Like
it's
in
just
the garage.
not in the
Yeah.
house, but we
Yeah.
had like a our garbage just outside. We would just toss them in there, and as long as here's the thing too. This is a good investment. There's
Yeah.
there's little baggies like that you can take with
Mhm.
you to go places, or even just if you're at the crib or whatever, and they're perfumed,
Uh-huh.
like the scented garbage
Yeah.
bags,
Yeah.
but they're just little baggies, and you can get them in the diaper aisle, and dude, those are
That's the
great because
move.
no matter how stinky that diaper is, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it's smell proof. It's smell
That's
proof.
what I need. I imagine myself treating the garage garbage bin as like a little kid down in your basement and you have to shut off the shut off the lights and you're scared. So you shut off and just start booking it up the stairs. I don't know about
Yeah.
you, but I don't think you ever went when I was younger. I think my freshman year of high school, we moved into the my a different house, and I think that's where
Mm-hmm.
you're familiar with. I had a house before that it was like an older house, but the basement, for some reason, the light to shut off the lights, shut off the lights, were on the very back of the basement. So you had to shut off the light and then run through the dark basement up the stairs. And when I would do that, I would envision things running after me as like a little kid and
Oh
like
yeah.
ghost arrows being shot at me as I run up run up the stairs.
Just
So
like the
in the
most
same
evil
scenario,
monster.
yeah, same scenario in the garbage, I lift that thing up and just like ghost poops are just like attacking me. Like,
It's like the trash can just like, oh, I'm gonna
I'm
get you,
gonna
Nick.
have for when we do a baby shower, the only thing that's on my list are those scented garbage bags. That's the only thing
Yeah.
I care about.
Yeah,
And
I
I'll
got
change a diaper, like no issue, but poop that's been sitting there for days,
yeah,
not my
it's
thing.
no, yeah, it's diaper changing is just one of those things. It's just you got to kind of just embrace it when you have kids. It's
Yeah.
definitely the last thing that I wanted to do, but
And I worked in a
it's just
hospital for a little bit where unfortunately I had to deal with a lot of like poop. so
yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm like, it can't be worse than that. Like at
Yeah, I
like
mean, you
grown
poopy
people poop is much different.
poopy babies is way easier than poopy adults. I mean, come on.
Yeah, 1,000%. And so knowing that I can get through that, I'm not too worried about that part. But if it's just sitting there, just simmering,
Uh,
just getting nice and seasoned,
Dude, it's
marinating.
funny though. It's funny though to piggyback off of that because like when we were first became parents, it was like as soon as that diaper was like a little bit wet, or we're just on it like now, like gotta change it. But like as we've had more kids, it's just like, oh, Crew's pooping out. All right, I'll change it in like a little bit or something.
Like you're desensitized to it now.
Yeah,
It's like it's all after 3 kids. It's just like whatever.
As it gets to the point now where like my older kids are just like, Dad, Mom, like Crew's poopy. We're like, oh, sorry, we didn't smell it. Sorry.
Daddy's gonna teach you a new thing today. Okay.
Dude, that's coming. Heck yeah. Kidding.
Yeah.
Kids are gonna start having chores and stuff around here.
Yeah, it's wild. So, what is something that I got I'm writing down, making mental notes. So, you like the formula thing? You like the poop bags?
Oh yeah.
Poop.
Those are top two.
Yeah. What is something that you're just like, dude? If I could do it again, I would not buy this.
I would say, man, just trying to think back. I mean,
like there's different play toys. Like some people are like, I like that jump thing that you put in your door. Some people are like, nah. Different bassinets. Like, cause it's like a wedding, right? If you put wedding next to anything, or you put baby next to anything, prices go up 30%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
and I'm
true.
just like, I could spend racks on all the things that I think I need.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the poop. Oh,
dude,
the thing you don't want is the poop.
Yeah, the diaper genie thing. The diaper
genie.
pal. That's a waste of money. I mean, those aren't very expensive anyways.
Yeah.
But I would say the one thing probably that we spent quite a bit of money on that we didn't use that much. Well, I can't say we didn't use it that much. We used it quite a bit, but is this like what's it called? It's called a night owl. It's like a little sock thing that you put on their ankle, and it at nighttime it shows on the little app on your phone. It will show their oxygen levels and their heart rate. And
okay.
It basically just for a newborn, we used it with all of our kids, but
it's like a fitness tracker kind of for
I would say as far as like putting because I think they're like $500 or $600, and like I said, obviously, if you have multiple kids, you'll get multiple uses out of it at the same time. Right. So, that type of stuff. But I would say for something that to spend that much money on and for what we never, I mean, obviously it did what it was supposed to do, but we never really used it. Like sometimes we wouldn't even put it on. And it's I don't know. If you get it as a gift, I mean, it's a good gift. Sweet. But if you spend your own money on it,
yeah, that's another thing that. So Rachel, I guess Rachel is a planner. I guess I am a planner, but for like the long term. Yeah. And so like I'm thinking about like baby strollers. Like, all right, I want to buy one that like can convert into 2. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like things like that. And there's the super nice ones, and then there's like the regular ones or stuff. I'm like, I want the super nice one. I need that thing to be smooth. If I hit a bump, that thing will not wake up ever.
100%, right? Dude, yeah. That's very important. I was gonna say if the stroller is one of those things like you do not want to get that as a gift, or if you don't test it out like in person, pushing it, and like don't get a stroller that you have not test driven, just like a car. Like,
that's one of the fun things that we did.
Things like,
yeah,
that game's got that our stroller's got to turn on like a dime, like just and then it's like you said, super smooth. It's got to like have shock absorbers in the back wheels.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And the convertible thing, like that's a fun thing that we've kind of done a little bit. Is gone like to stores where you can test out stuff and look at what you need. Like I'm the type of person like, do you need a actual like crib, but also need a travel crib, but also need like 4 things that do the same damn thing, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this thing is a crib, it's a playpen, it's a changing station, all in one. right?
Mm-hmm.
Efficiency is what I'm looking for
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're looking through everything, and in Santa Barbara in California, like there's a lot of keeping up with the Joneses type thing. So you see,
Mm-hmm.
people with the most expensive stuff in the world,
Oh yeah.
and outfits
Definitely.
that are like $150 and they'll be done with them in like 2 months, right? They create like stuff
Yeah.
that's not where I come from, so it's not, and I don't really care what other people really think about me that much
Absolutely.
to want to
Yeah.
buy the most expensive like baby carrier.
Yeah.
So like
No.
you can spend freaking 10-20 grand if you're really on like a infant. I'm like, all right, I rather have too less of things than have too much, because I can always buy stuff if I
Yeah.
actually need it, right? uh
Absolutely.
so yeah, there's a lot of that going around here, which is so different from Michigan, in most places at least.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I grew up with not a whole lot by design. Like I could have
Mm-hmm.
had a lot, but my parents were just like, just get what you need. And
Yeah.
like I feel like as I grew up, I didn't need a lot to like be happy. So those lessons in that I've seen. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but with that, I know that there's a lot of things that I'm going to share with my kid and teach my kid that I didn't mean to teach him, and it's not good. Just by watching, because kids are always watching, right? And
Oh, dude.
imitating all the
Crazy.
time. And like, if I'm over in the corner and I'm just like, shit. And then like 2 months later, they're like, shit, daddy. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. God damn.
100%, dude. Yeah, you gotta.
So
Those
my
kids.
goal is to teach them stuff, but also teach them things that they can overcome the BS that I taught them. I taught them.
Yeah, dude. Their
Oh.
kids are like FBI agents. You just, man, they're just like constantly investigating, and they're just like sponges. Just every little thing that they say. I mean, it's just some of the words that like if you speak intelligently, like I would say. I mean, I read books and stuff, so I would say I speak intelligently. I use words that sometimes maybe other people wouldn't use, and I use them around my children as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when they catch on to those types of things, it's just so funny hearing your kids say. Like the other day, Layla came up to me and she's like talking about something. She's like, "Sorry, Dad, I didn't intentionally mean to do that." And she's like 6, and I'm like, "Gosh, that sounds so funny coming out of your mouth. It's just ridiculous."
Oh, so smart. I think
But
that's the crazy thing is like I
yeah.
feel like people don't give kids enough credit for how smart they are. I
Mm.
feel like most people are like kids are stupid,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of undervalue their intelligence a lot. I saw that a lot from
100%.
coaching basketball. I treated my players like they were adults, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, which I feel was very different from what they were used to, and they responded very well. And
Yeah.
just like you said, it's just like, wow, like you can use big words. She's only 6, but like
Mm-hmm.
maybe the idea of only being 6 is, I mean, I was a dumb 6 year old, I know that. but 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 I feel, and I say this with knowing Nate's daughter. She's only 1 and she can't speak very well, but he was like amazed that if he was like, go get Spider-Man, she could go get Spider-Man. Didn't know, can't say it, but knows what you're
100%.
talking about all the
Yeah.
time. So I'm excited for those things, like being
Yeah.
surprised, and
Yeah,
just
dude,
like you mentioned.
it's awesome. It's awesome. I think I follow Jordan Peterson,
Hmm.
and he talks a lot about early childhood development and what that does for a kid. And I think that's so important, like especially in today's society, as we look around us and all these school shootings and everything that's going on with this younger generation. It's just so important to, and I'm speaking to a broad audience here. It's just so important how we bring up our kids and the things that we teach them, and it's just all about ethics, man. You just have to, and responsibility. I mean, when you bring children into the world, you are responsible to raise them, to be an asset to the world. Like, when
Yeah.
you bring somebody in, if we want the world to be a better place, well, then we have to make the people in it better. And it sucks to think that, nowadays, like, taking your kids to public school versus private school or homeschooling them is now even a thought that me and my wife have talked about here
Hmm.
recently. It sucks that we have to think about that type of stuff, because the public school that you and I went to and grew up in is not the same public school that it is today.
Hmm.
And so a lot has changed with that. And but like I said, going back to that early childhood development, that's just so important. When between the ages of 0 and 5, that's when your children will really take in the most, as far as who they are, what characteristics and stuff they will use to become a bigger person,
Yeah.
a teen and adult. They learn those things when they're like, 0 to 5 years old, which is
Hmm.
crazy to think, but a lot of people don't realize that. Like you just said, they just think they're little kids and they're stupid and they're dumb, and
Yeah.
oh, that's so cute that he does that,
Hmm.
and it's just like, at the same time, it's like those are very crucial years in a child's development.
Right.
And like you said, even though they might not comprehend, certain ones might not comprehend certain things, but they're
Hmm.
still, man, even at that young of an age. The same thing with my son Crew. It's just like, hey, take this to the trash can, and he'll take that thing, and he can't say the word trash can, or even, what it, but
Yeah.
he'll take that thing and he'll walk it right to the trash can. He'll lift the lid, put it in there, just like mom and dad do, because
Uh-huh.
he's seen us do it so many times.
Yeah.
He knows what to do. And it's just, yeah, man, it's just when you're like I said, a parent, and you're taking on the responsibility of having another
Hmm.
person, that you brought into this world. It's a huge responsibility. And I think, like I said, it's just something that we really have to take for what it's worth, because it means a lot. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. I think about a lot of people that my college days where you see people go off on their own for the first time and they don't know how to take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be that reason that we were just talking about of I think I have to do everything for my kid because they're stupid, right?
Right.
But I also the second layer to that is I feel like a lot of people uh, get in the way of their kids' development for personal reasons.
Mm.
What I mean by that is I want to do everything for you so I feel useful to you, like I'm doing a
Mm.
good job as a parent and whatnot. But I think it's the opposite. Is like by the time you as they grow older, they should need you less and less and less and less and less. And a lot of people almost don't teach their kids things. I feel maybe not intentionally, but
Right.
they don't teach kids things because they want to always be needed. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I see that a lot with kids going to college, and their mom is used to doing their laundry and cooking them all their meals, and when they're finally by themselves, they can't even fry like their meal every single day is like a fried egg sandwich or whatever it may be, like the simplest
Ramen
thing,
noodles. Yeah.
ramen noodle, like,
Yeah.
or just putting something in the microwave, or like the basics things. And
Right.
it's actually pretty sad. And then their mom comes over for like the weekend and like brings their laundry back from their house and stuff or whatever. It's like, dude, like, what are
Here's your
you
cleans.
doing?
Where's your dirties, honey?
Right. And it brings me to another point is like, um I feel I've said this before, and I think I said this to Rachel on one of these episodes, is you can't lose a sense of identity. Your whole identity can't be your kids,
Mm-hmm.
because when they're gone, they're living on their own. They have their own spouses. They have their own system now. I see a lot of people struggle with that,
Mm-hmm.
and they're lost, and they kind of have to find themselves again. And it's like you got to find a hobby. You got to continuously, like, for me, and I like music a lot, right? Let's say, or I
Yeah.
love basketball a lot. Let's say I stop doing basketball because I don't have time because I'm raising my kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when the kids are gone, what do you got? You got
Right.
nothing, right? Oh, maybe I'll pick basketball up when I'm 60, right? It's like, probably
Mm.
not, right?
Right.
So I think even though your kids are your priority, right? You still have to make yourself a priority and think, like I said, thinking long term. When they're gone, you don't want to
100%.
just like have to try to have this in like I have no use now. I have no purpose now because my kids are gone. They don't need me. I have no purpose. I'm sad, right?
Hmm.
So that's kind of long term thinking that I have with Rachel and stuff like that. Even when we started dating, I was like, I don't want you to stop doing things that you enjoy because you have a boyfriend now. And it goes on to
Right.
being having a husband now. I want you to do things for you. It's okay to be selfish sometimes because I know in the long term it's going to make you happier. It's going to be make me happier. It's going to make our kids happier. It's going to make everybody's relationship better.
Right. 100%. Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree more with you on that. That's something that me and my wife have, even as of late. I mean, like I said, these last 6 years, it's been like boom, kid, a little bit dry spell, boom, kid, dry spell. But it's just like
Hmm.
it's just been a crazy, crazy like 6 years. But yeah, I think more and more, like I said, as we've grown our relationship, me and my wife, we understand that more now. It's just like, uh, it's so funny that you say that. As just a couple of days ago, we were talking, at nighttime before we go to bed. It's just like, man, we gotta really find some more time to enjoy us.
Hmm.
And it's just when you have children, it's just like you said, it's just you focus so much on a daily basis to provide for them and their needs, and when they're hungry and hey, I want this, I went potty, can you wipe me, can you change me, I just spilled on my shirt, can you clean my mess and change my clothes, and it's just like always something going on.
Yeah.
And I think when you talk about the future, statistically, I mean, successful people think about the future,
Hmm.
right? It's and successful. I don't mean financially or whatever. Just successful in life. Successful people think about the future, and I think you have to constantly be thinking about like what is next. Like what is this decision that I'm making right now going to do for me in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years?
Hmm.
Um, it's those people that aren't enjoying life, that are always feeling like they're struggling, or they're upset, or they're always negative about life. It's those people that constantly only think about the present, like the
Hmm.
situation that's happening right now, and they just can't see that it's just a hurdle, and that
Yeah.
they just have to really look towards again, the future. Like, hey, yeah, this is, everybody goes through struggles and battles, and everybody goes through victories and triumphs, but you have to go through the shitty stuff to get to the good stuff.
Hmm.
And I think that, like I said, bringing that back to a relationship, that's something that, like I said, I would definitely, something that me and my wife are still working on to this day, is finding more nights where we can just go on a date, just for an
Hmm.
hour or something. Or, we took our kids to the museum today, and she's like, hey, this would be a good idea just for something like me and you to do,
Yeah.
on a date night or something. So just finding stuff like that, like you said, because kids are so important, and developing your children are so important. But I think if you give them space sometimes, and they're not so clingy and needy, like needing mommy and daddy all the time, like I can't stand, and no offense to anybody that has kids like this, but I just can't stand kids that, like, when you're out and about, they're
Hmm.
just like constantly like hugging on their parent's leg, or
Yeah.
like they can't take a step without knowing
Hmm.
exactly where their parent is. And it's just like, um,
And that
that's
goes
like I
back to
said,
my original point is like I feel like there's people that do that intentionally. They want
mm-hmm,
to feel loved, they want to feel needed all the time. If their kid cries or something, I'm right there. I'm right there.
yeah,
Like for me, you bring up public school and private school and all those different things. Um, I kind of want my kid to struggle.
mm-hmm,
you know,
yeah,
Obviously not detrimental, but I'm kind of the type of person to be like, all right, let's see what happens. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Let's see if you can figure it out. That type of
mm-hmm,
deal. And I feel like for me, in the public school that we grew up in, it wasn't hugely diverse, but it was diverse as far as economics
yeah,
and family relationships, all different type of things. It might not have been skin color, but there's a lot of variations. And I think that one thing that benefited me and what has been the driving force of my success is being able to relate and work with people of many different backgrounds,
mm,
of many different economical situations, cultural, how they're raised, how their family life was, what do they have a good family, do they not? And I want my I mean, even like, people want to fight me today. How am I gonna, even the bad
Yeah,
things, right? Even the bad
absolutely.
things. There's a lot of struggle that I look back. There's a lot of struggle and maneuvering and scheming, and just to get through the bus rides were the worst. That was the
Hmm.
worst. I don't know if you ever rode the bus, but
Oh
I rode
yeah,
the bus, and
dude. I rode the bus till I was a senior.
yeah, like the craziest things, the worst of all high school is on buses.
Yeah.
I saw no, I saw someone take a syringe on a bus, back of the bus, and pull blood out of their arm. A high school kid. I saw another couple. This dude took a pin, shove it into his arm, take it out. It's bleeding. His girlfriend licks it up. I'm
Oh
telling
my
you, the
goodness.
worst of the worst fights on the bus, the
Oh
worst
yeah, dude.
of the worst I've seen on the bus. But with that, I don't want my kid to see that. But also, it's okay to struggle. How did you? All right, I didn't sit by those people. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
made sure I wasn't by those people. I maneuvered myself to not be around those people, stay under the radar. I didn't want to get in a fight or offend anybody. I'm getting away from them, right? So even though
And that's
you're
the
in
most important part. That's
yeah,
the most important part right there. What you just said, the follow up.
hmm
Like you, yeah, you can have your kids go through that, but it's when they come home and they're still thinking about that, and they're
hmm
sitting in their bedroom and they're collecting their thoughts about what they just witnessed on the bus at school. And some parents will come in and they'll say, hey, they'll talk to their kids.
yeah,
Hey, how was your day at school? What did you do today? How was the bus ride home? Like
uh-huh.
it's the communication that's so important. And like I said, I'm not saying that public schools are bad.
hmm
I'm just saying, like I said, in a situation like that, it has to be the follow up, because if you're not constantly communicating with your child about what they see, and explaining to them what the good is, what the bad is, right? They have to
yeah,
be able to figure that stuff out themselves.
hmm
So that way, when they see it again, they're like, oh yeah, I remember when my dad talked to me about that. That's bad. I'm going to
yeah,
stay away from that.
yeah,
Right. So, but if
uh-huh.
you don't have that conversation and they don't really know, well, they might be thinking about that in their head, and starting to get a little bit curious about it.
Yeah,
Right. Like,
right,
maybe not something that serious, but hey, maybe
hmm
it's smoking cigarettes, or doing chewing tobacco, or whatever the case may be. Not doing your
hmm
homework because video games are more important.
yeah,
Whatever the case is,
yeah,
like, but it's that communication that's so important, especially as they get older. Because when they're younger, they're kind of just watching and learning, and mommy and daddy are telling them, hey, this is bad, this is good. But if they're not going through the experience themselves, and then
hmm
having those conversations, whether they're hard or not, easy,
yeah,
just having the conversation. I think
hmm
that's one of the things that I definitely appreciated about my parents is, especially my mom, is she was always. I mean, my mom. She was
yeah,
a lunch lady and stuff at the school, and
hmm
she was always kind of around, and she
yeah,
was, for what some people would say, a strict parent.
hmm
And maybe at the time, certain things I was like, yeah, maybe I, didn't really.
My mom and your mom people
Yeah,
would think the same thing. So I'm
yeah,
with you
dude.
on
They always
that.
thought she was strict and all this stuff, but as I look back, and the person that I've become now as a mature adult, I thank my mom,
Yeah,
for how she raised me, and my dad. I'm not saying
yeah,
my dad wasn't there, but my mom especially, she was, didn't really work, much. She was mainly a stay at home mom, so she was always there
mhm,
for sporting events and taking us to school and all this type of stuff. So she was just always there having those hard conversations. Like I said, and when I was a kid, sometimes I didn't like her.
mhm,
In
yeah.
my head, I was like, yeah, what the hell is this lady talking about? Like, fuck, just let me live my life,
It's a crazy
But
lady. You're a crazy lady.
yeah. but but no, like I said, as I look back now, it was those conversations that, like I said, I understood, what was good, what was
Mhm,
bad, and what I should stay away from, and what what things that I shouldn't stay away from, and I
yeah.
think that's so important.
Same. Me and you are in the same boat on that one. Very similar experiences, and yeah, I look
Mm-hmm.
back all the time, and just something I remember. I was maybe in middle school or even elementary school. I mean, I was pretty young, and one day my mom was like, "Nope, you do your own laundry now." And I was like so mad. I was like, well, "What? Why? I do not." Right? I was like, "I'm not gonna do it." and and I
Oh,
don't
dirty
have
laundry.
clothes. Yeah, don't have clothes whatsoever. And then I eventually made me do it, and like at the time I was mad, right? But then
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh yeah, I get it now. That
Mhm.
good move, mom. Good
Oh, she
job.
was teaching me a lesson. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm trying to put into my playbook here when it comes to kids is when a kid, a lot of times kids obviously ask a lot of questions, right?
Mm, mhm,
And I find a lot of parents answer those questions right
mm,
away, right?
mhm,
And eh, I don't want to do that. I want to obviously, if you have short patience at the moment, it's just like, ah! yep, there you go, bye. But for the most part, I almost want to. I don't. We both have had friends that had parents that kind of were overbearing, right?
mhm.
And are quick to answer those questions and just tell them what to do all the time. And obviously, we know where that leads, right? And it
Right.
kind of, my point is when they have questions, I don't want to get in the habit of always telling my kid what to do because of
Mhm.
those bad things. You talk about having a conversation with them and in the right way, asking them, how was your day? Okay, let's unpack this. Tell me
Yeah.
what you think. Where's your head going? And then I'll tell you what I think. And there's going to be times where I think I need to empower my kid to make their own decisions so they're used to making decisions for themselves. And maybe if they come to the okay, this is my decision. Okay, what brought you to that conclusion? Let's talk about that because that's what's important. What brought you to that
Mhm.
conclusion? Okay, then let's ask. So if I don't agree, it's not telling. I'm going to be like, okay, but what happens if this happens? Right.
Right.
And then kind
Yeah.
of leading their thought process to those decisions. Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I kind of use that a lot in coaching basketball. It was like, all right, but this guy's over here. He might do that. Now what? Like I know the answer, but let's let's think about this. How did I get to my answer? Not just telling you.
Right.
And so if you're just constantly telling your kid what to do and how to think and all these good things, you kind of have to, I guess, finesse the conversations a little bit. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm. Oh yeah. Yeah. You gotta walk them down that scenario. It's so much easier for you to just spit out an answer, and they may retain it or they may not retain it. It might go one
Mm-hmm.
ear and out the other. But if you put them in a situation where they have to literally think about, hey, what would I do in this situation? It's funny that you bring that up. I was watching this show the other day. It was about parenting. I don't even know why I was watching it, but it was on, so I decided to watch it. And they were putting this group of parents were putting this their kids through a situation, and it was a
mm-hmm.
situation where they were in a store together, the parent and the kid, and the parent had to go somewhere. Obviously, it was staged; it was a TV show. But then an actor or a stranger would come up to the kid, and they would say, hey, your mom told me, or it might not have been a stranger. It could even been like a family friend or something. They would come up
Mm-hmm.
to him in the store and like say, hey, your mom actually just caught me in the street. She had to run. I'm here to pick you up to take you home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were putting these kids in this situation. It was cool to watch how different kids responded to those situations differently. Like some kids would, without a question, hopped in the car and they drove right off with the person.
Yeah.
you know but then other kids, even though it was a family friend, they would hesitate and they'd pick up the phone and they dialed their parent or say,
Mm-hmm.
hey mom, just wanted to let you know that so and so is here to pick me up. He said that you wanted me to take me home. Is this
Uh-huh.
okay?
Yeah.
Right. So it's so crazy watching like a show like that and seeing the different types of like parenting styles and the different situations
Mm-hmm.
that kids can be put into, and how differently that they'll respond or react.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it all comes back to the fact of, again, communicating with your child, making sure that they understand, like you were just saying, putting them that in that situation. Hey, so if a stranger came up to you in the street and said that they had candy in their car, would you
Yeah.
go with them, or
Uh-huh.
what would you do in that situation?
Yeah.
And my wife's done that to our kids, and it's funny because they respond differently. Like Layla, she's always been like very, we call her our golden child. She just like she's the oldest, she's the most mature, and she just knows the right thing to do in pretty much every
Uh-huh.
situation, typically.
Yeah.
But she still picks on her younger siblings and
Of
everything like
course.
that. But then if you ask that same question to Jade, hey, if a stranger had some candy in his car, would you? She's like, oh yeah, what
she's like
kind?
she's like, how much candy?
So it's like it's just like I
Uh,
said, yeah, it's one of those things. Kids are just so different, even like I said, just the different kids that we had.
mm,
They're just their personalities are different, just the way that they um, retain information and characteristics, and just different things. It's so cool, dude, to
it
watch the
makes me
kids
want to
grow
do
up
that to
and
my kids, like test them,
mm,
like secretly, like, hey, Stinch, I need
yeah,
you to come over here and do a favor for me. Hey, I'm your daddy's friend. Like, because think about that. Like, all right, I think I told them, I think I taught them the right thing, but there's
right,
never going to be a test, right?
hmm,
There's no test to prove it, right?
right,
And
right.
so it's just like makes me want to be like, all
Just
right,
kind of have to
I
have
got.
faith and hope. Yeah, hope that you did it all right. And
Yeah,
but yeah, it was cool seeing like I said, seeing that situation play out and how differently kids responded to that situation. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
man.
man, it's like I said, kids are crazy. It's one of the greatest things that I've ever gone through. It's one of the probably the hardest things that I've ever gone through,
Mm-hmm.
especially. Um, Me and my wife, we got married, and pretty much 9 months later, Layla was born.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one of those situations where we didn't have a lot of time to kind of enjoy life, just us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if I would never change anything that's happened in my life. Everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that, and everything's just a stepping stone to that next plateau in your life. But I think if I had to go back, I would probably change that.
Mm-hmm.
Spend a little bit more time with me and her, and just focusing on us. And I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
have a very strong relationship. Obviously, I'm not going into
Right.
anything very personal like that, but
Yeah.
but yeah, that would be one thing. Like I said, if I had to go back, I think and that's
Mm-hmm.
and that's why now that we've had kids, and like I said, we've gone through that 6 year period. It seems like we were just kid after kid after kid. We've
Right.
now started to realize, hey, we're done having kids. Let's start to enjoy ourselves more,
Yeah.
and not put so much priority on you know the kids all the time, and just as soon as we lay our head down
Mm-hmm.
at night, it's like the last thing we think about is our kids. It's just
Yeah.
so I think that's so important.
What's gonna be dope is when Layla is like older and she can just watch the kids, like
Mm,
her siblings, right? And just like, all right, you're in charge. She's the golden child. She knows
100%,
what to
dude.
do. All right, watch
That's
the
gonna be
kids for a
great.
couple hours or whatever it may be. That's the time.
That's gonna be great. It's gonna be phenomenal. I cannot wait till we can hire our oldest daughter to be a babysitter. That's
Yeah,
gonna be great.
yeah, 1,000%. And yeah, Nate's daughter is one, and so there'll be about a year and a half between our daughter and Nate's daughter, and so it's going to
Mm.
be really cool to see them grow up. But what's also awesome is my stepbrother has two girls. My stepsister has two girls who are older. They're in middle school now and older. So like, I got I got some people.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
I got some
cool.
people once they're old enough and stuff, and so eventually Rachel and I will move back to Michigan and spend time with family and have them grow up with each other and all those good things. So I'm super looking forward to all that stuff.
Oh yeah, man. That's gonna be great. It's
Yeah.
nothing better than having cousins and having them close like that. And we've been fortunate to have my sister had a couple of kids right around the time that we had ours, and then my brother Derek just had his first son.
Nice.
About I think he's almost a year now. Maybe
Wow.
I think he just had his year. He
I
just
didn't
had
know
his
that.
year
That's
birthday.
awesome.
Yeah. So and obviously they're in the Carolinas, so it's a little bit tougher to see them. But we we try to get down there when they come up here.
Yeah.
A couple times a year we probably see them, but yeah, it's so cool having cousins and stuff, at the same ages, and having those kids grow up together. And
Hmm.
I remember when I was a kid, that was some of my best years as a kid. We were growing up with my cousins, and we had a big
Yeah.
family, and getting together for Christmases and Thanksgivings, and or just whenever, and just having family get-togethers. And those were some of the best years of my life growing up, and I
Rachel and
want
I
my
were
kids to have that.
1000%. Rachel and I were just in LA at this mall, and there's like this little play area or whatever. And Rachel was like, "Man, I can't wait till me, Nate and Claire are just hanging out, and then the kids are just like running around in the grass, just hanging
Mm-hmm.
out." I'm like, "Yeah, that's gonna be sick."
Yeah, it is. It is. It's cool, especially like I said, when you have like other adults,
Hmm.
around, and your kids are playing together, and the adults can kind of commingle, and that like I said, that's so important. It's just sometimes when it's just the kids, it can get a
Hmm.
little bit overwhelming. But when you got some other adults that you can hang out with, and you guys can bond at the same time that the kids are bonding, and
Yeah,
yeah, it's a really cool thing. It's something that we're trying to find more couples around us, that live by us. I mean, like I
that's what
said, a
I'm
lot of the
saying.
people that I friends with, you
Hmm.
and Sherwin lives in Grand Rapids, so me and him get together every once in a while. But we all know he's probably not getting married anytime soon, and definitely not
Yeah,
having, maybe never have kids. So,
I mean,
um, we'll see.
no, but
So
Nate plans on moving there. I plan on moving there eventually, Grand Rapids. I think that's going to be our final place to really just settle down is in Grand Rapids eventually.
yeah, we love
So
it here, dude. We're definitely sticking it out long term here. It's
yeah.
a great area.
Oh, I can't wait. And that's where we got married, obviously. So I love
Yeah.
downtown and the food
Hmm.
scene, and there's so many things to do, it seems like, and it's relatively like clean and nice and all those, and close to the west, just the west side in general is just sick. Um,
West side's best side.
yeah,
That's what we say.
yeah, 1000%.
Yeah.
And it's not too far from Chicago if you want like that big city. I guess Detroit's on the come up. It's nice down there now, but
Hmm.
yeah, I
Hmm.
love Chicago too.
Yeah, me and Courtney were just talking about that. We need to we need to take a trip out to Chicago. It's been a minute since we've been out that way, man.
Especially in
I
the
love that
summer.
city.
Especially in the
Yeah.
summer. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
sick.
can't beat it.
All right, Stinch, we're about an hour, and I got one more thing for you before I let you go. I
Yes,
know
sir.
that music has been a huge part of your life ever since we were younger, making music
Hmm.
together ourselves, and you've always been a big music guy. Uh, who are I want to say top three, but who are your top three musical artists that you listen to right now that you really
Mm.
enjoy? Because I know in the past you've sent me stuff on Snapchat or something of a song that you like, or I think one guy, what was it? A while back you sent me somebody who was like a singer. I want to say it was like Pink something maybe.
Oh, Pink Sweats. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that
Yeah.
that guy. And
Yeah.
so I was curious to know what you've been listening to lately.
Oh man, the playlist as of late, it's all over the place, man. I'm just a big music buff. I was actually listening to a Facebook memory popped up a couple days ago, and our Hey Girl video with me, you, and Nate popped up, and I listened to that, played it for Courtney, and next thing you know, we were in the bedroom. It was crazy, but
Of course.
but but
Yeah, I
no,
was just
but
thinking about that before this. I was just thinking about the first song we ever made. Uh, "What You Do to Me." And that video is out there somewhere, and
yeah,
a little cringy for me, but also at the same time I'm just like, dang, we were really out there doing it before it was sweet.
right,
like
dude. I mean, yeah,
there was no one
we were
else,
shooting music videos, and
music
like
videos, like
it's the whole
sneaking
thing.
into places just to get the footage going and all that stuff, dude. We were really out there, like when everybody thought we were probably weirdos, right? Like no one
Yeah,
freaking does it. No cool people. Now everybody does it, right? It's like the coolest thing
100%.
ever. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
But
awesome.
all right. Who you got? Who you got for me?
Music. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of the artist Mike lately.
Hmm.
Used to be known as Mike Stud, but I didn't really listen to him back then. He's gotten a lot better now. So I've been listening to him a lot lately. Man, Drake's always on my playlist. I mean, he's always releasing stuff. I spin him constantly. And then, man, top three, I'd have to say probably who else? Probably Black.
Yeah,
I mean,
he just came out with his album.
he just released that new album. I've been spinning that quite a bit,
I
but
still gotta listen to it. I haven't
yeah,
gotten to it yet.
it's good. It's good. It's good all the way through. It's a little different vibe for him. It sounds like he's found a lady friend, and he's kind of in that lovey romance stage, and
Hmm.
that's kind of what that album is about.
Definitely seemed like a different vibe from just some clips I've had, like more experimental almost on
Yeah,
some things, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, like I said, I would say that's probably top three for me. But like I said, it's always all over the place. I'm just a big music buff. If something, whether it's Christian, country, rock,
Mm.
rap, I don't care. If it hits with me, if I get goosebumps when I'm listening to it, then it's on my playlist.
You've
So,
gotten into Division, yeah?
oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been spinning their latest album for a minute now, and
Mm, mm-hmm.
man, ever since their first album, I've been just like a huge. I mean, I have my own playlist of just Division on
Oh yeah.
Spotify and stuff, and that's probably my favorite like singer person group
Mm-hmm.
right now that I listen
Mm-hmm.
to the most. Um, it's hard to find like true like R&B. A lot of like R&B stuff. There's not many R&B stuff that makes me feel like the actual emotion that they're singing. A lot of it is like singers now. It's just like poppy kind of like hype stuff, and
Right.
or
Right.
it's turning more towards um, stuff that you were interested in back in the day, more that alternative like rock, like in high school.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say like Blink 182, but you know what I'm getting at, right? Like Post
Yeah.
Malone kind of is down that vibe, and kind of
Yeah. That
singers are
punk rock. Yep. Emo stuff.
yeah, who is it?
Yeah.
Kid Leroy. Like that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
that the hip hop slash that infused into one. That's not really my thing. But it's kind of going away from that soul R&B
Mm-hmm.
type of thing that I really enjoy, and they're kind of like holding it down in my opinion
Yeah.
in that arena.
Yeah,
So
dude.
I really like them a lot.
Divisions. They're definitely on my playlist 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Pink Sweat's got some stuff out there, but yeah, like I said, I've been spinning a lot of Mike lately. I mean, I listen to Leroy a lot, Drake, Lil Baby,
Hmm.
Oliver Francis. I mean, he's Oliver Francis. He's an underground artist.
I haven't heard of him yet.
Um,
No.
yeah, you should check him out. He's on Spotify for a while there, but he just started to come out with some stuff. He's this white kid, but I like his stuff. Like I said,
Yeah.
it if it makes me feel something when I'm listening to it. I mean, I'm not all about chopping up and gangsters, and I'm not, I
Yeah.
can't relate to that music that
Yeah.
way. But
Yeah.
when it makes me feel something internally, emotionally, when I'm listening to it, then like I said,
Yeah.
I'm all about it, man. I love music.
Who is that one guy? God, it was probably one of the best written songs I've heard in a while. He did a song with Drake. He's like 2:30, maybe, baby, by the bean.
Oh, is that
Show you things.
is that Giveon?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He got some soul in his stuff.
yeah.
What the one I I'm blanking right now, but his main song that got him big, the one where it's like super sad.
Heartbreak Anniversary.
Yeah, that was one of the best like written songs. Like right when he gets into it, it's just like, dang, he puts you in the seat right away,
Mm.
right in the
Mm-hmm.
emotion, right into the seat. It's kind of like Frank Ocean in the beginning. Was that one song where it's super abstract? It's his main song. He's talking about gosh, I'm blanking so bad right now. Uh, he equates to like a tornado. I'm not gonna find it. I forget what it is,
Yeah.
but I like it when they don't when people write things that they don't tell you exactly what it is, but they use like the analogies and all those things to say it. So basically, he was like, uh, he was I think in Giveon when he was writing that song, he said something about like deflated balloons or something like that. Like it was a party, and at the end of the party, it's all over. Like the balloons
Yeah.
are deflated, and it was just like
Yeah.
the relationship was over, and that's like kind of how he felt. And I was like, damn,
Yeah, dude.
that's sick.
When it has like when it has like that imagery like that, where
Yeah,
you can like relate that to something different. It's just Kevin sent me a guy that I've been listening to lately too. What was his name? I can't think of it. Oh, Destin Conrad.
No,
Yeah,
never
you
heard
should
of
check
him
him
either.
out. He's a R&B singer. Yeah, Destin Conrad. But
Damn.
uh, but yeah, like I said, I mean, just music, man. I just love a good song. That's for
Hell
sure.
yeah. Hell yeah. All right, Stinch. Thanks for coming on, man. Really
Mm,
appreciate you reaching out and making yourself available to come on. I'm always looking for people, and it means a lot when I I feel like I'm probably the only person that people in my circle that is actually doing something like this, and I can see it. Like back in the day, it was weird to like
mm,
make music videos, and when we were the
right.
only ones doing them and stuff like that. So it actually it brings up my spirit when people want to join in on it, because I'm not just out here by myself doing weird stuff. And
Hell yeah.
so when you reached out and you made yourself available, wanted to actually do it, I was like, oh man, sweet. Like I'm not just some weirdo in the corner doing something no one cares about it. If people want to join
No
in, it
way, dude.
makes me
Yeah.
happy, man.
No way. Absolutely. Like I said, anytime, man. I'm all about this stuff. Like I said, now that I've matured and gotten a little bit older, it's just all about just that peace and that positivity and bringing good energy into the world. And like I said, if I can support somebody like you and hop on this thing and shoot, even maybe somebody listening to it, I help them. That's just what
Yeah,
it's all about. It's just about everybody helping each other, and we just got to make this world a better place to bring our kids up in. And yeah, man, like I said, no matter how far the distance or how long it's been since we've talked, I can always connect with any of my friends, and it's like we never left.
I
So
know that's a good thing.
I appreciate that about our friend group for sure.
Yeah, and when I found out you named your son Crew, I was like,
Yeah.
I knew that motherfucker was
Dude,
gonna.
one day
I
he's gonna
knew that
walk
was.
out. He's gonna walk out. I've already got it pictured like a basketball game or something, and his song's gonna come on. It's like, why? 'Cause you're on the crew.
I know. Right when
It's gonna be
I was
game
like,
over.
oh, he would do that. That's so dope.
Uh, it's
Oh,
great. It's
yeah,
gonna be
man.
great.
Bye, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you, like I
All right,
said,
dude.
and I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Peace,
All
man.
right,
Much
peace.
love. See you.